welcome everyone to the Charter Township of Washington regular scheduled meeting of June 15, 2022. Today we have a special guest for Pledge of Allegiance, and Gary Kopp would like to introduce him. So I'll let Gary introduce him.
I'd like to thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to invite up Michael Berlingeri. He's currently a graduate. I guess you're now officially graduated, right, from Romeo High School, where he played high school basketball and baseball while maintaining, believe it or not, a 4.0 GPA. He's also a youth leader for Christians for Christ. In his spare time, he's an assistant basketball coach at Holy Family Regional School in Rochester. He's the son of Mary and Raphael Berlingeri, who live in Washington Township. Michael received his presidential appointment to West Point Military Academy, where he will graduate with a 4-year Bachelor of Science degree in engineering. He will then serve a 5-year commitment in the U.S. Army as a second lieutenant to lead and train future servicemen and women. I'd like to congratulate him for all of his hard work, his congressional appointment. Not everybody gets to go to West Point, and Washington Township is honored to have him here and as an attendee. And Michael's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'd all stand.
Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michael.
Got anything you want to say? Since you're just trying to run away?
Congratulations.
You got most of Washington Township right here, so if you want to say anything, this would be the time.
I've had the opportunity to watch Michael in basketball and baseball for the last several years, and he does an awesome job, and I think he's going to serve well in the military, so at West Point. So wanted to say congratulations, and it's been a pleasure watching you grow up playing sports, so you've done an awesome job, so thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless. Okay, with that, Mr. Babinski, the roll call.
All right, Mr. Kopp,
I am here.
Mr. Pollard,
Yes.
Ms. Olson,
Here.
Mr. Datowski,
I am here.
Mr. Praviti,
Here,
Mr. Nicely,
Yes, sir.
and I am here.
all present and accounted for. You see before you the agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or motions? I'll make a motion to.
I'd like to add a violation of the Open Meetings Act to the agenda, and I'd like to also add a violation of our policies and procedures.
I will second that.
Is that under new business then?
I
would
assume
assume.
so.
Yep.
That would be 10-2 and then 10-3.
10-2 and 10-3.
Okay, if no other motion, make a motion with the added agenda items.
I'll support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, before you see the consent agenda, you're being asked to approve the accounts payable of June 15, 2022, approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meetings June 1st, accept the Building Department monthly report of May 2022, approve the Parks and Rec accounts payable for June 3rd and June 10th, 2022, accept the May 2022 monthly report from the Washington Township Fire Department, and approve the closed session minutes of June 1st, 2022.
Mr. Supervisor, before we go any further, I would like to let the board know that one of the issues that kept coming up for the past year was the approval of the P&R accounts payable and the STAR part of payables. They now, for the last 3 weeks, have been coming to the board for approval prior to signature, prior to being sent to the clerk's office for signature. So we are looking at them and we are approving, we are taking the appropriate action as we go. So my suggestion in the future is that we don't have any issues with Parks and Rec accounts payable.
Okay. Is that a motion to accept the consent?
I motion to accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Support.
Supported by Kopp. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We don't have any moved agenda items. Next is comments from audience on non-agenda items. So anything that's not on the agenda, if you'd like to address the board, feel free at this moment. Otherwise, we'll give you a chance during the agenda to speak. Go Going once, going twice? Okay, thank you. Next is legal counsel.
I just have a brief update for the board on the Parks and Rec bylaws. I've had 2 meetings with Gary Kopp and Mike Tremblay, trustee for Bruce Township, to discuss the final draft of the bylaws that they had presented. During those meetings, I had made a recommendation to get exactly to the same place as they want to be, but taking a little bit different route to get there. And I think they have both agreed that it is a better way to go. I've made, as I indicated, no changes to what they have done, but from an organizational standpoint, we're planning it out a little bit differently, and I know I'm not telling you any detail, because we are about 1 meeting away from presenting it to the full board, both Bruce and Washington. We met last week, and Gary and Mike, I believe, are meeting this Friday to review the final draft that I had given them. They will then give me their final comments. I will incorporate them into my final document, and they will be then ready for both review by Bruce and Washington Township. So we are very close to having a document for you to review.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Next is unfinished business. So tonight, there's the public hearing on the Hidden Valley SAD.
So I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing.
Explain it. Okay. yeah.
Support.
Okay, there's a motion to open public hearing by Babinski, seconded by Olson. Roll call.
Babinski's yes. Olson?
Yes.
Gutowski?
Yes.
Graviti?
Yes.
Nicely?
Yes.
Polad?
Yes.
And Kopp?
Yes.
So tonight, most of you are here probably for Hidden Valley. The estimate went out for the SAD. It came back from the county a lot higher than what you guys had expected. So tonight's your chance to voice to the board if you're still in favor of it, not in favor of it. The board still has the option, since you guys did sign the, what's the proper term, the amendment to the?
Well, they had originally submitted the petition.
Petition,
with
yeah.
an estimate of cost, and the board went to the point of adopting Resolution 3, which was a determination that the petitions were sufficient, the estimate of cost was proper, and that the district that they had proposed was adequate. And then when the estimate of costs, when the actual cost came in, it was more than 10% of what the estimate was. And under Act 188, if there's any incremental increase in cost in an SAD at any time, then the board has to go back and hold a necessity hearing again. So the purpose of tonight is to give the residents an opportunity to weigh in as to whether they're interested in still proceeding, whether they are asking the board not to proceed. But you're right, at the end of the day, it's the board's decision.
And again, we're the middlemen of this. The money comes from the county. We defer, you can pay it back in one lump sum, or you can pay it over X amount of years, as we'll decide. But with that, I'll open, I guess, if anyone would like to address the
Motion
board.
open to public hearing.
We already did.
Oh,
that.
I'm
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I'd appreciate the hearing from the residents that live there, if you're still in favor of it, if not in favor of it. Yep, please come to the podium, state your name and address. Please try to limit it to 3 minutes, since we got a lot.
Okay, what's going to be the interest rate on this loan?
In the past, we've charged 3%.
It's going to stay 3%? Is that a passive 3%?
No, it's fixed.
Okay,
It's fixed 3%.
I'm not for this road. Okay, this price is outrageous. We already have water going down. All of a sudden, we're in a big hurry to get the water done. And I think the reason for that is so they can do the road, because the economy is the way it is. You guys all know where we're going. You understand that this is going to be a session here, and it's coming. And the guys that want to put the road in, I figured they better do it now while there's money to be had. That's the only question I have. Oh, well, I have more. They said originally they were going to put 4 inches of new asphalt on the road. Is that before they roll it or after they roll it?
Joe, would you know that?
Well, 4 inches,
The engineer.
That'll be after they roll it, so that they apply a thicker layer, and the 4 inches will be after.
yeah. Okay. That's all I have to say right now.
Thank you, thank you. Do you got his name?
No, it's not required.
Oh, okay.
We ask, that's all.
I'd like to say that my name's Jennifer Satimo. I live on Sharon Lee. Barbara Ann is the only street that is getting water in our sub. Sharon Lee does not have any water. However, I am for the road. I have 2 little children, can't ride their bike on the road. I can't walk on the road, can't push a stroller, a wagon, nothing. My kids cannot live on this road without it being finished. Last year, my daughter started kindergarten. The buses were supposed to pick her up on our street. They will not come down our street per the transportation department because of our roads. It damages the buses so tremendously. So if it's damaging the buses, what is it also doing to our cars? So yes, it is a higher cost. We are willing to pay it, me and my family, and I know many other families are willing to pay that higher cost just so that our kids can live. We do not have the damage to our vehicles, and it's a nicer area and a nicer sub to live in.
Can I ask one question, and then I'd ask you, sir, to do the same thing? Did you originally sign a petition, and then did you sign in favor or not in favor?
I originally signed in favor, my husband and I, yes.
Sir?
I signed it, but I did not agree. I don't want my kids playing in the street.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nate Reimel. I live on Barbara Ann. I did sign the petition for this originally. My first question is, has a decision been made if this were to move forward as to how the cost will be divided? Is it equally, or is it by frontage?
Yeah, Patty, our assessor, can.
The cost will not be decided until you do Resolution 5, and then you will do the recommendation, and I have the different costs on the spreadsheets. So it's really a board decision, it's how it's done. I'll have a recommendation, but it's totally up to I get no vote. 7 people up there get a vote.
The traditional way is what, the frontage, correct? Or in past?
I like the unit of benefit, it seems the most fair. That's what I will recommend, but that isn't always what the board does. So it really is up to you guys.
Okay, well, I think that for a lot of people is a big deciding factor, and it would be nice to know your guys' position on that if this were to move forward. Me personally, I want this more than anything, and however, due to the economy and due to the rising cost and due to that it's a 20-year commitment payment, there's interest on it, fiscally, it's not responsible for me at this time. Like I said, I want this more than anything. I originally signed yes, but I feel at this time, with the economy and the cost, I would prefer to pass on it. So, thank you.
Just to piggyback what Stan said, did you vote in favor originally, or?
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
he
didn't
did.
hear that, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Krakowski. I live on Sharon Lee, and I originally signed the petition for the road. I've signed 3 petitions now for the road. I believe that we need to have this road in our sub. Also, if we turn this down now, we will not be able, correct me if I'm wrong, we will not be able to partake in the 50/50, correct? From the county?
You'll forfeit it, correct?
Right, we'll forfeit that.
And then
So
you don't know
in-
if you'll get it again in the future.
Okay.
That
So-
would be for this year only, though?
Yeah,
They
you'd
could
have to
go in the
resubmit.
future, they'd have to resubmit for the 50/50.
You would have to put up the money again to resubmit and go through the process, to basically start over again, like you've done the
Start
last 3
over
times,
again.
like the
Okay.
last- yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt you. So the county gives 4 away a year, so depending on who needs it, obviously your sub, is not to,
Okay.
whatever, I mean, it's in dire need.
Okay, because I was told that if we don't do it this year, that we would not be able to get in the program again.
I mean,
So.
I can't.
All right, but thank you for the clarification. And I also want to thank the board for deciding to go this far with the road. We've been there for over 20 years, and this is the farthest we've gone. So I really thank you for going to bat with for us. Okay? But my husband and I are totally 100% for this road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak?
Hi, Mike Muscat, live on Valleydale Court. Definitely for the road. The estimate, I kind of want to know where you guys got the information, the data for that. It seems like you guys pulled stuff from 2018, 19. I think that the estimate should have came from the bids that were placed after the solicitation was put out. Now, if it went 10% over that, then I think, we should definitely have a meeting about it. But since it seems to me that the data was pulled from prior projects from, I don't know when, 2018, 19, and 20, it's kind of like planning a road trip to Florida in those years and then do it now. Of course, it's going to be double, triple that. But I'm for the road. It needs to be paved. It's quite embarrassing. To me, it really brings the neighborhood down. I think when it gets paved, it's just going to, up the value of our houses. You guys can probably tax us more, so it's kind of a win for the township. It's, I think it's good all around. It's sucks that we have to pay for it, but it's kind of just what I've learned from home ownership. So,
Mike, did you sign previously?
yes, yeah. Thank you.
Part of the reason the price rose dramatically is because of a culvert that's in there. I don't know, Joe, correct me, we thought the county road commission was going to pick that up and.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a mix, but I mean, we worked directly with the supplier, and that was a little bit higher than we anticipated, obviously. Asphalt costs, just like material costs, just about anywhere. You can get 25 to 30% increases in the last year or so. I think the original estimate was provided and signed, I believe it was August last year. That sounds about right for timing. So we did use data from last year. We used from other projects we've done in the past, and then we worked very closely with Macomb County for what they were seeing, because certain agencies get different prices. The reason why the other subdivisions in this program potentially might not have gotten to that 10% increase is just because of the scale of this subdivision is much bigger than the other ones. They were all above their original estimate. It's just they weren't to that 10% because the scale of this subdivision was a little bit bigger.
What about Crestview? Do they have a final number?
The crest line across the sub, they do. I mean, we'd have to look it up, but that should be all. That should be all final.
Hello, my name is Jill Myron, and I live on Barbara Ann. I originally signed the petition in favor of the new roads, and I still feel that way for all the reasons already cited. I do have 2 kids, and there are no sidewalks in our subdivision, so they do have to, even if they wanted to use the roads to get to Sisson or some other neighborhoods that do have sidewalks, they're unable to ride their scooters or their bikes. It's pretty torn up. Yes, it's embarrassing. It's also just, it's only going to get worse. So, and I don't believe the cost is going to get any better in a few years from now. So I'm in favor of the roads.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Marvin Nichols. I live on Valleydale Court. I did sign the petition in favor, and I still feel that way. I do have a question for you, since the cost of the drain towards Van Dyke, say this goes down somehow, is the county still going to fix that drain since it's in such bad shape? And who's going to pay for that? Because I know a big cost to this is that drain.
Yeah.
And it's a county drain. And I know you're saying that you thought the county was going to pay for that. But I'm just kind of curious. I am still for the roads because they are bad.
I tried reaching out to the county to see if they would pick up a portion of it or all of the drain. Unfortunately, there's no money in drains and. so
Okay, oh, I would just,
one way or
well,
the
say this
other.
goes down, are they still gonna fix it, or are they just gonna block the road off?
It'll just be on the list waiting until
Okay, I'm
things
just
get worse.
curious.
Yeah. I mean, I can't promise a date yet if they would fix it. Bonnie got something?
I just wanted to clarify something the gentleman before said about the cost, or old cost. The cost that we're comparing now is the bid price to the original petition price. So what we're using is the bid price from the county contractors.
Okay. Any other pros or cons?
I have a few questions. First, my name is Christina Wisniewski. I live on the corner of Barbara Ann and Sharon Lee. So I have one of the corner lots that could potentially incur a huge cost with this, depending on which way you guys decide to go. So I do read the local newspaper and follow the meeting notes from the different township meetings. I don't make it here myself, which maybe I should. There was a note in the April 20th paper saying that our cost sharing had decreased from 912 to 849,000. So that was the initial thing I read in the paper, and I was elated. I'm like, cost of living is going up, things are going up, but there's a notice in the paper saying that our cost has gone down. So do we have any idea where that number came from? Because that was from the township board meeting notes. Any idea? That was the first one I saw.
I don't remember ever hearing the price go down. I remember reading that.
It's in the paper from the
Don't
meeting
ever
notes. And I'm
believe
not
what you
sure.
read in the paper.
I guess
Which paper was that?
I don't know where to find the meeting notes, but this was from the township board meeting notes that they publish in the paper on a weekly basis.
Was it
It wouldn't be the first time they made a mistake, but.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well,
It may have actually increased, maybe it was the increase that.
So I believe that was
We were shocked
before-
by the increase.
Well, I believe that was before the bid came out, but then there was also, a few weeks later, after the bid went out, and we had received our notices in the mail that said, that the cost had increased and we were having this meeting, it said that the cost at that point was $1,266,000. And there was even a quote from Cindy saying, what a shame. And that would be our cost sharing piece. But now we're looking, and that's not even close to what our cost sharing piece. Because at that point, I was like, that's right around a 10% increase. It's not terrible. That's understandable with the cost of living. But now we're looking at this paperwork, and our cost increase is 39%. 39% increase over what it would have cost us before. That's pretty significant. And I hate to say it, but if that is our true cost, I am no longer for this. I can't justify that significant of a cost increase. As much as I want the road done, as much as I was standing up here elated 9 months ago saying, I want this for my family, I want this for my child, I think it's good for our neighborhood, I can't justify it at a 39% increase. And having a corner lot, I could potentially pay, depending on what you choose, $46,000 for my road. $46,000 for a road that has been in disrepair for half of a decade, or half of a century. That is significant, and it doesn't seem quite right. So I know that there's a lot of people who still want this, and they're saying, my increase isn't that much, right? The minimum my increase, if we go based on the unit of benefit, is $7,600 for just the increase. It's too much of an increase at this point in time. I know that everything is costly right now, and we still want it done, but I really don't think it's the time to do it. And I know we've put a lot of work into it, and it's disappointing, but it's just too much right now. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Or?
Steve Lampe on Barbara Ann Drive. Yeah, the road, it's been that way since I moved in there back in 1999. It was terrible. Nobody wants to fix the road, and I understand that. And I never signed up originally to have it because I knew it was going to be expensive. My point is, if we're going to have to pay for this drain, why do we have to do it now? They're not worried about it failing. Our construction should start right where we start, not with the apartment building, past it. Let it go until it collapses, and then they can put a closed road sign up or whatever they want to do. Because that's what they're going to do now, so why do we have to pay for it now? So that's my opinion on it. Or we just turn the road to dirt and chloride it, and it'll be a better condition than it ever was.
Anybody else? Going once? Oh, yeah.
This drain thing seems to be quite a project. What exactly do they want to do with this drain? Besides putting a new culvert in, what else are they talking about doing to it? I call it a ditch. You can call it a drain. It's a ditch.
Yeah.
They plan on cleaning it out? Is that what they plan on doing?
Yeah, I'm sure, Rich, it's the actual culvert, I thought.
Is it?
You want to do the whole explain?
Yeah, they're just going to replace the culvert, they'll clean underneath where it goes in, they're going to repave it. Other than that, they're not doing anything else down the drain.
So $200,000 for a pipe
Correct.
for a ditch. And the pipe isn't bad. I mean, I understand they want to replace it if they put new asphalt on top. But it hasn't failed, correct?
Hey, I'm with you. I mean, we went to bat for you
I
guys.
understand you guys went and fought for
I
it,
mean, I
and,
can't twist their arm any more than I tried.
and I totally understand that. But I agree with the other gentleman. Leave it alone. Block the road off. You block the road off, I'd be all for this road. But Barbara Ann turns into a freeway when the road is going to be smooth. I understand the other people on Sharon Lee and all that because they don't have any full through traffic. But ours is a straight shot to Sisson. And people come down that road at 40, 45 miles an hour right now, the way it is. And we have a lot of children now on our block that we didn't have before. And that's why I'm against the road. I'll be honest with you. I'm afraid one of these kids are going to get hit by a car.
Good evening. My daughter has bought a home on Barbara Ann, and it's been her dream to own a home. She's a single mother that has a child. She's a hospice nurse that takes care of dying patients. She works very hard to pay her mortgage. With these improvements, she's going to have to sell her home. She's not going to be able to afford. We would love a paved road, but she's not going to be able to afford it. I just want you to think about our economic times and the environment that we're living in right now and the people that might suffer from this improvement. I thank you for your consideration.
Anyone else? Bonnie, maybe I'll put you in the hot seat for a minute. So you gave us the information on what the township has spent to date. I don't know if there's anything to elaborate on it or
Well, no,
explain.
I had gathered that from the general ledger, which you've got in front of you, and it also talked with Heidi to get what she had on the spreadsheet so that you understood. And I also consulted, Rich and I, with Mr. Siebert regarding what happens to these funds if you choose not to move forward with the project. And basically, it can't be spread to to this SAD. We're just going to eat those costs that have been spent so far. And I would like to add that in the process that we've been doing this SAD and with the homeowners that charged up the hill, we tried to get them to grind it into into putting it back to gravel. Road Commission wanted nothing to do with that. We tried also to just pave the internal valley and leave the two ends and leave that drain alone. And they said that if they were going to do the 50/50 program, which is their road, and they're the ones that are calling the shots, then that drain and those two ends going out to Sisson and going out to Van Dyke had to be included. So we did try. We tried all 16 different ways to Sunday, but this is, at the end of the day, the drain's in, and it is what it is, so.
Thank you. Okay, last chance for anyone, or going once, going twice? I make a motion to close public hearing.
Support.
Okay, roll call?
Praviti?
Yep, yes.
Gutowski?
Mr. Pollard had it.
What was that?
Mr. Pollard had it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
They
thought I
both said
heard
at
you
the same
say it.
time.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Then Gutowski.
Yes?
Olson?
Yes,
Pop?
Yes.
Nicely?
Yes.
And Babinski is a yes.
Okay, motion passed. So now, it's now at this point we decide what to go forward with. So the township has invested $78,684 in engineering, publishing, legal, and staff time for Hidden Valley SAD.
Mr. Supervisor, if I may, sir, if I heard the numbers correctly, we're looking at 3% is what we typically charge the residents, and this is typically out to 20 years. Do we have any latitude on that to where maybe we can drop it to 2% and give it to 25%, as these are unprecedented times?
You mean
25
25 years?
25 years.
5 years only?
No, he's
you meant
25 years,
I meant,
not,
yeah, take it to 25 years, yes, sir, from 20 years.
Do we have an ordinance?
Is that, can we do that?
Do we have an ordinance that specifies 3% or not? Usually it's,
No.
usually there's an ordinance.
No, there's not.
Okay.
The problem with going to 25 years is that if it comes time to bond this, the bond companies don't like it. So the maximum that any bond companies will do is 20 years. That's the reason why we stuck with a 20-year time limit on that.
Gotcha. So is there something we can do on the interest then?
We can always do anything we want with the interest, but typically we've charged 3%.
I mean, would that be a little bit more palatable to the residents if we drop the interest rate, say 2%? So it's dropping it a third. I understand the predicament you're in. I looked at getting a little 12-by-12 deck replaced on my condo. I got the number, and it came in at $13,500, and I went, are you kidding me? So I said, no, you know what, I'll put a couple of boards in there, I'll patch it. So I understand I'm in the same position you are. I believe everybody here is in the same position, that we're watching our dollars and cents. But from what I've heard also, since '99, you guys have been dealing with a very bad issue here. You can't even get service down there. You can't get the buses down there. I am concerned about the kids, having been one that was actually hit by a car in 1972, and I had a lot of damage done to my body. They need a safe place. You don't have sidewalks. You got to give them something. You can't just restrict them to a little square 60-foot, 90-foot lot and say, this is what you got. All right, so, I mean, I'll do what you guys want to do, but these are some of the thoughts I'm just putting out there.
Yeah, we could put speed signs up, children play.
If you're going to do the road, you need to do something, because the cars going down our road are going too fast. So we need to protect the kids.
I believe the supervisor can work with the county there and maybe get some signs put up for that, because that does sound very reasonable.
Yeah, we do have extra sheriffs in the area. We can always have them patrol the area more, too.
If they have enough gasoline.
Yeah. That's what I heard in Lenawee County, yeah, or some, one of the counties, yeah.
Isabella.
Yeah.
Right now is not looking good. And whoever wants to pave this road wants to do it now. So he can get his money now.
I don't know that.
Yeah. So Bob, tonight we're just deciding to go forward or not. We're not discussing years or percentage.
No, that's correct. Remember, you've already held a Resolution 3 hearing. You've already decided you need the road.
Yeah.
You've already decided the parameters of the district. You're only doing this again because the statute requires you to do it. So if you're inclined to proceed with it, all you need to do is make a motion that you're going to proceed with the special assessment at the new estimate of cost. And then when I do the Resolution 4 to set the public hearing on the roll, I will fold in what happened tonight in that resolution, so you'll see it.
The public still has an opportunity to turn it down, though, right?
No.
Wouldn't
No.
we agree with this? This is,
No, well, you've already decided that you're going to go forward with it, but after tonight's
Right.
hearing, if you decide tonight that you're going to continue to go forward with it, that issue is done, that train is gone. That you are going to go forward with it. The only thing left, there will be one more public hearing, and that's the hearing on the roll. So you'll direct Patty to prepare the roll, and that roll will then be available at the township. All the individuals in the special assessment district will be given notice of the public hearing, and then they will be able to come in and see the assessment on their individual parcel. And at that hearing, there's no more decision about whether, it's how much. And at that hearing, the board will presumably approve the roll or modify the roll. And then at that point, it becomes a lien on the property, and the board will then decide the duration. You've already decided, I think, in the first one, 20 years, and then you'll set the interest rate.
Brent, how many years does this engineering go through? Would it, if it got turned down today, would it be viable for another year, 2 years? Do you gotta do some refreshes? What would happen?
In terms of the actual design of it,
Yeah.
I would expect that most of it would be, there would have to be some touch-ups, but there wouldn't be some, I mean, it's in the ground, it's on the shelf, ready to design. Now, we'd have to go through some approvals again. We'd probably have to resend some stuff. We'd have to reshoot some topo, like some surface information if things change over the years and everything. So if you wait 5 years, some people could do some things in their front of their house, but I wouldn't expect it to be very high at that point.
and Rich, we're going to put the water in regardless of whether the road gets improved or not, correct?
Correct.
So the comment about whether or not we're putting the water in because of the road really isn't true. It was just an opportunity to put them both in at the same time and only have one mess instead of two.
Good opportunity, yeah. We're picking up part of the drainage on the water main job of it, so.
It just seems like we're in a big hurry now to get the water. Big water line going in. We weren't in a big hurry before, now we're in a big hurry.
Well, it's, you guys got approved for that $500,000 match program from the county. So I mean, if we turn it down, next time you come around, I don't know if the county might pick you, that, they might say how many times, I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the county, but I mean, like you said, this is the third time, so I don't know.
And if the water line goes in, are they forced to tap in?
No.
We're just rehooking the ones that are on not Mount Clemens, Romeo's water.
Barbara Ann. It's only on Barbara Ann.
Right.
So is there any chance at some point that the county will step up and fix these drains so the people here don't have to pay to get those drains repaired?
As far as now, no.
Probably not.
There's no tax on
Unless
drains,
something
so
collapses.
there's no money to draw from.
Wow.
So that's the problem.
No, but you have leverage to get it done. It doesn't make, logically, it doesn't make sense to go ahead and do the road and then let the county get away with it, clean it up. Trashy area down there, clean it out. So you're gonna get more water coming down the road, and
They are gonna fix it the right way.
That ditch runs all the way down Van Dyke.
All the way to 30 Mile Road.
So are the people on Van Dyke getting charged to fix that drain?
No.
No. No, they're not, but their drain's gonna be fixed for them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know.
Runs right behind the-
Well, all the drains are connected, yeah.
It's a ditch.
Okay, it's a ditch.
Drain to me is a pipe.
If you don't believe it's a ditch, then you ought to go out there and look at it.
Okay. So, anybody want to make a motion? Right now, we're voting to proceed or not.
Can't. Oh, okay. I'd hate to see this thing get kicked down the road another 20 years for you guys, I really do.
I hate to pay $5 a gallon for gas.
Me too. We're all in that same boat, sir, me too.
You should be old enough that you lived through a recession.
I have, a few of
You know
them.
what it's, you know what it's like. You know what it's like. People lose their jobs.
They lose their jobs, they don't go out for 2 years, they don't go to a movie, every meal is cooked home.
If people are gonna lose their homes.
It's going to happen, that there will probably be some that will happen, but you can't control the road.
I understand your point. I'm just saying, look at the economy.
Would you folks be willing to take the risk on losing the $500,000 and just delaying a decision on this for a year?
Are you saying it's not gonna be available yet?
That's what I'm saying, because it may not.
Yeah, but
It may not.
the county.
It may not.
Yeah, but the county may not.
We don't know.
Hold off a
I'm
year
saying
on
that's a
this.
risk to you. It's a risk to you. Now, there's,
I need to show you a picture of my son who had his fucking
Okay.
buses wide open from broken pieces of the street. Nobody cares because they don't have kids. They're all over 60 years old. I still have children who ride their bike, that use this neighborhood. So please help us out.
Let's please use the podium. If any-
Well, that jackass doesn't.
No, I know. No, okay. I'm sorry, the lady in the back had or you?
I will be honest, if we put this off, I will not have a driveway to pull into. My driveway is crumbling. I did have my culvert replaced last summer. Yeah, last summer, the beginning of last summer. My ditch, in the 10 years that we have lived there, my husband has dug it out. We have dug it out. We are getting flooding from the rains coming off the road into our yard. My neighbor next door, I live on the corner of Sharon Lee and Sunnydale. And my neighbor next door, he lives on Sharon Lee, but it's actually, I can't remember, I believe it's Valleydale Court. No, Donna Marie, I'm sorry. His driveway is completely flooded every rain. It does not flow in the road. It does not go in the ditch. And my ditch is easily, if I stand in it, up to my waist or higher.
Is it filled full of water?
It is full of water because the drainage does not work down at the end. Sir, with all due respect, I do have the time right now.
Address the board, please, only. Address the board only, please.
I know it's a cost. I'm a teacher. What it's going to cost me is what I make in a year. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that because I know that these roads need it. In 5 years down the road, we won't have a road. We won't even have dirt. My neighbor across the street, Valleydale and Sharon Lee, they have a sinkhole because the culvert across the cul-de-sac there is failing. There's a sinkhole and you can see the patch and they'll come out weekly and repatch it because it keeps sinking through. I don't make a lot of money. My husband doesn't make a lot of money. We are willing to put forth this money to do this because we know in the long run, it's going to help us. It's going to assist us so that we don't have flooding in our newly renovated basement. We don't have flooding in our neighbor's garage. That last June, I know last year was crazy with the rain, we had sub pumps pulling the water out of the driveways. We had to dig a swale in our front yard just to get the water so it wouldn't come into our basement. We need this done. I appreciate everything that you guys have done for us. I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, hope that you will continue this. If not for my kids, for the township. Because in the long run, I believe it will help the township and the look of, and the overall aesthetics of this township as well. Because you tell anyone you live in Washington Township, tell them where you live, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. It's the worst road to go down. 2020, I was out of work for the pandemic, Teacher Appreciation Day. Our principal drove to everybody's house. She remembers my house specifically.
Because of the roads.
Because of the roads. And she drove down to Detroit. She said our roads were worse. Thank you.
Mr. Pavetta, you asked a question a minute ago. I am prepared to make a motion. As with any motion, you're going to make some people happy, and you're going to make some people unhappy. But that's the price you pay for leadership. I make a motion that we approve the public hearing, Hidden Valley SAD.
You already approved it. What you're doing is you're making a motion to continue with.
I make a motion to continue.
With the special assessment improvement at the increased estimate of cost.
As Mr. Siebert has.
Well, we got this far. I want to get it right. Okay, we got this far. Let's keep doing it right.
Thank you, Mr. Siebert.
Support.
That is my motion.
Okay, motion by Dukowski, seconded by Polat. If no questions, roll call.
Tatowski,
Yes.
Pollad,
Yes?
Cop,
Yes.
Nicely,
Yes.
Praviti,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
I'm very conflicted, I didn't vote yet.
Me too.
It is very difficult. I understand and hear both sides of what's being said.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 20-some years as well, and I've known since then that road has always been that way, and I hate when I have to travel that road, and yes, it does get used as a cut through. I'm hoping that we have some influence with the county and be able to provide some signage over there to help and maybe get some speed reduction in that area. And I don't know if it's feasible, because I know the county doesn't like those, but I would think it would be appropriate to even pursuing speed bumps, and even if they're only temporary ones that will prohibit the racing of Sisson to Van Dyke or Van Dyke to Sisson. So I'm going to vote in favor as well.
Okay, so motion passes 7-0. So as Mr. Siebert, our attorney, mentioned, the next, which meeting would that be, July?
Well, when Patty does the final roll.
Oh, yeah, we'll wait for our assessment.
So I would, again, I don't want to speak for her, but I
Yeah.
would say within the next meeting or two, the board will adopt a resolution setting the public hearing. It'll be in the newspaper. They get mailings directly to their home, so they'll know about it.
So then you'll all be welcome to come back. That's when we'll say if it's 20 years or what the interest rate will be in. Sorry, did you want to say something? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I understood us to only going to Resolution 3 until such time as the improvements were constructed. And then once we had the final construction costs, we were going to come back with the public hearing on the spread of the rule. Mr. Siebert?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So we went to Resolution 3. Yep. And then we're going to do the construction. Construction has not happened yet.
Right.
So we're not coming back to the board until after construction.
And that's fine. Then it's going to be at some time.
So it'll
then
be a
until-
while then.
Until you get the
Yeah.
roll.
Construction slated for September.
September, okay. So we'll see you guys again after the construction's completed then. Thank you. You can come up to the board if you have a question.
You can speak into the microphone, sir, that way we can all hear you. Thank you, sir.
John Karas, Barbara Ann. So I'm not clear, when is it decided as to whether it's going to be by frontage or whether it's going to be by, just everybody shares? What is the time frame for that?
So the
I thought I knew, and then I heard you, and it didn't sound like.
That'll happen in Resolution 5, so it sounds like after the construction, the numbers should be set. We should know the actual total real cost, where everything here is estimated. So once you know that, then they'll pass it, or they'll decide which way it gets spread.
So that's not till September?
It'll probably be in the late fall then, yeah. After the construction in September.
Because that's, I mean, that's a huge difference for a lot of people. Corner lot myself, so.
Yeah, no, so that's why then, we'll send notices out for you guys to come in and
Okay.
you'll be free to, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Express your opinion. Thank you all for coming. You're free to stay, or if you guys want to leave, that's fine. Next item is 9.2 Powell and 32 Mile, the water main extension. So I'd like to call our engineer, Maria from Fishback up.
Good evening. So,
Sorry. I'll let you present the.
okay, so I think in front of you is the, our recommendation for the bid for the 32 Mile and Powell Roads water main extension. As you remember, this is a project we've been designing it for the last year. We went out to bid last month. We got 10 bids, which was great. In front of you are the bids and the bid tab. The bids actually came in lower than the engineer's estimate. And the lowest bidder is Telto Contracting. We reviewed their bids, we checked on their bid bond and their insurance, and it all looks good. So we are recommending that you award the project to Telto for the amount of $2,156,162.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Telto Contracting Incorporated for an amount of $2,156,162 for the Powell and 32 Mile Road water main extension.
I'll support. Any questions from the audience? Okay, otherwise.
I have one question.
Oh, sorry. Mike.
As far as the ratings, is that like a Moody's rating, or is it by performance or financial, or?
I believe it's by financial ratings, yes. So we require that they have a minimum rating, and in this case, it's an A+. So,
It looks like it's pretty good all the way.
Yep.
Back to 17.
yep, they're a good firm, and they're a good contractor, and I believe they've done quite a lot of work in the township.
Yeah, we had them do a couple jobs right down the street from this, and they're a good contractor. They've been out for a while.
But as due diligence, we check on their bonding and their insurance. So,
No other questions? I guess roll call.
Tatowski,
Support.
Praviti,
Yes.
Yes.
Olson, Babinski is a yes. Pop,
Yes.
Nicely,
Yes.
and Polad.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Kept you short.
Thank you, Maria.
We promised it.
Next
Can
is,
stay, Maria.
next is 9.3, the street lighting as special assessment. I'll let Mike make
Yeah, each year we have to put on the tax roll the Summer Street Special Assessment for Willow Ridge, which is 111 parcels at $128 each, and Willow Ridge Farms at 75 parcels at $47 each. And we're asking the board to allow the supervisor and clerk to authorize the warrant for the summer 2022 tax roll to place these on there for them.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, that's my motion.
Support.
Mr. Pollitt had a question.
Question on the motion?
Okay, question I had is this based upon actual cost of the lighting, or how is it?
DTE determines that.
Okay.
If no other questions, roll call.
Nicely,
Yes.
Tatowski,
Yes.
Polad,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Babinski is a yes. Praviti,
Yes.
and Cop.
Yes.
Motion passed. On to new business, 10.1, revised stormwater standards. Who was that? For Joe?
Who's up?
Or is that Dana? Yes.
It's Brent Kraft.
Yes.
The engineer.
Bonnie.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe Paquette's the other guy. Brent.
I can start.
I'm thinking of Joe Paquette. Sorry.
So this is, we're asking you to approve the revised language to our ordinance, which for engineering standard ordinance, if you will, for the MS4 permit that we are required to have with the state of Michigan. So the Eagle has reviewed these standard changes and they have approved them. We do need to have them in ordinance so that they are enforceable, and we need you to approve these. These are standards that we're required to have in our ordinance. So there's really not a whole lot that we can do short of asking you to approve these so we can actually get them in the ordinance.
To speak on them, most of them are trying to be a little more current with the MS, like the Eagle has changed some of their standards over the years. So it's all the retention and detention basins, some forebays. It's just a little bit of different calculations of how to calculate, how to pre-treat these things. And then there was a couple minor updates for just some language that over the years we needed to improve on.
Is this something that'll go into effect like today, like right now, as soon as we vote?
So they have to actually be put into the ordinance language, which we'll get that over to Mr. Siebert, and then I believe it's an exhibit to our ordinance, so it can, as long as they approve the language today, it can be adopted right away.
Cindy, it's a regulatory ordinance, so once Bonnie gets me the language, I'll put it in ordinance draft form. It'll come back, and you have to adopt it for first publication, and then second time, it'll be effective, so.
Okay, thank you.
We can have it up for the next meeting as soon as I get the language.
I got just maybe more of a technical question than anything else. Item number 4, it says channel protection volume control. And then there's some gobbledygook in there, but then it says the CPVC shall be provided using infiltration and/or storage best management practices such as bioretention, rain gardens, bioswales. This stuff sounds expensive. Is this something that somebody's going to come in here and basically want to put in a barn in their back, and because of this new ordinance that they're going to be required in order to put in a drainage ditch, and it's going to have bioswales and rain gardens and all this stuff to go along with it?
So we actually just worked through with Macomb County because they've just revised their standards to more or less this exact same thing. So the internal drive project, the industrial subdivision, we had to go through the same thing. It really depends on your soils, so there does need to be a little testing ahead of time, but if your soils prove that they can infiltrate, so it provides, so some of that first flush volume will infiltrate directly in the soils, then there's really not much you need to do as long as you can prove that the water is getting to those areas. Now, there are some areas where you may not, like you can see some parking lots where they have, like, the infiltration areas, it's a little bit extra potentially up front, but most of the time it's minimal maintenance at that point, and it's trying to be that more natural environment.
Is it going to cost more money?
Everything.
I thought so. Okay. But the reality of this is we really don't get a vote on this, right? It sounds to me like it's going to happen and we get to approve it whether we like it or not.
Yeah, like we said, Macomb County has already implemented this. Eagle's already said this is the standards that everyone's going for.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve language and authorize Township Attorney to construct the ordinance amendment to Section 6.2 of the Engineering and Design Standards Appendix B of the Land Development and Utility Ordinance.
Support.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Or anyone else? Otherwise, roll call.
Datowski?
Yes.
Cop?
Yes.
Bolad?
Yes.
Nicely?
Yes, sir.
Pavidi?
Yes.
Dubinsky is yes. And Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next, Cindy has a violation of Open Meetings Act.
I was surprised when I drove past Township Hall and saw a sign out front saying that we're closed. I think we circumvented the board on this, and I think it was a violation of the Open Meetings Act at the very least. I'd like to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up under elected officials update. So the stock market, it's a federal holiday. The banks are closed. The post office is closed. The county, the state. Everyone is closing and observant of Juneteenth on the 20th of June this year, instead of June 19th because it falls on a Sunday. I ended up announcing the closure of it, but I did tell the staff that I would bring it back to the board. So if anyone would like to make a motion to not be closed, you can do that tonight.
What was told to the employees
I told them I would bring it up tonight to see what the board.
prior to that conversation, sir?
I told them that in observance of the new federal holiday, I would close as the federal, state, and local governments are closing.
All right, as holidays, as we have union contracts, and holidays are defined by union contract, would this be a paid holiday, or would they take comp time or PTO time, or would they take this unpaid, or would they have the option of working that day so that they don't use either?
No, as a paid holiday, as other federal paid holidays. Sue has a question. You can come to the board.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the past, the board has voted on the holidays. So why can't you make a motion to vote to make it a holiday? Instead of making a motion to take it away, make a motion. I mean, I understand there should have been, that process should have happened, because that's the process, is the board votes on holidays. They always have in the past. So why wouldn't you vote on this and say it's a holiday, being it's a federal holiday, we'll adopt it as a holiday?
Oh, that's fine.
Well, actually, if you're going to give the, if the employees in Washington Township are going to go by federal holidays, then you're going to remove Good Friday from them. You're going to remove Columbus Day from them. You're going to
Columbus Day is a
remove
federal holiday.
November 20, you're going to remove November 26th from them. You're going to remove the entire week of Christmas other than the 26th and the 31st.
I don't
so
think
They
you're
use their
just-
vacation time during the holidays.
I don't think that was said, that you weren't following just federal holidays. This board votes and adopts holidays like most boards do. So you don't have to give up those other ones. You already voted for those to be a holiday, so you just vote on
Get it over with.
another one.
I think the point was, is that, I think what Cindy was trying to say was, there's a certain number of federal holidays, and then there's a number of holidays that have already been approved by the board. And if you adopt a policy that says we're going to approve only federal holidays, and I think your point is taken,
Yeah.
we're going to lose a bunch of days.
Yeah.
So the question becomes whether or not are we approving this because it's a federal holiday? And if so, then why aren't we following all the federal holiday schedules?
We are following all the other federal holidays.
Apparently, we're not, according to what I just heard. There's a bunch of days that are on the federal
Good Friday isn't a
schedule.
federal holiday. Columbus Day is not a federal
Yeah,
holiday.
Columbus Day is a federal holiday. I'm Italian.
No.
Celebrate that every year.
Look it up. It took me 2 seconds to find it online. Look up federal holiday.
Columbus Day was,
2022.
okay. It's been a holiday for many years.
Not a federal holiday.
Yes, it
You have
is.
the list right here.
It is.
I have a list right there.
Okay.
Federal holidays on the side. Anyway, you already told the employees that they could have the day off. A lot of them have probably already made plans. It's not fair to them now to have the board vote on this after you already did it. What I'm asking is this an Open Meetings Act violation of their supervisor deciding and telling the employees that we're closing Township Hall on June 20th?
Well, let's, first real quick. Is Columbus Day a federal holiday? Yes. Is the federal government closed on Columbus Day? Yes. So I just looked it up.
I have my
And,
screenshot right here.
and sometimes management decisions are made because the three of us are the management of the company, or management of the township. This was enacted by the federal government, and the three full-time elected officials decided to include that in part of the federal government employee staff, and we moved forward. So there's no Open Meetings Act issues, there's no policies issues. It was the management decision to decide to do this.
Would you mind weighing in, Mr. Sieber, please?
Is your question is it an Open Meetings
Is
Act
this-
violation? The answer
Was this a violation of them?
of the Open Meetings Act? No.
All right. Was this a violation of our policies and procedures for them to decide that we just added a holiday and,
Quite frankly, I don't know what your procedures say about setting holidays. I know past practice has been that the township board will set the holidays, because all of your union contracts have language in them, I'm going to get this mostly right. Most of them will list the holidays. Some of them will also defer to those holidays that the board allows. So past practice has been that the board will decide it, and when Sam called me on this last week, I said, Sam, probably the better practice is to follow past practice and have the board decide it, and he said, fine. So which is why you're going to discuss it tonight. So I think it's clearly not an Open Meetings Act violation, and whether it violated past practice is moot because you're going to decide it now.
I want to challenge you on that comment about it not violating the Open Meetings Act. The Open Meetings Act dictates that any public policy that's made is basically done in a public forum, isn't it?
No, that is not what the Open Meetings Act says. It's not what it says. The open meeting, pardon?
Go ahead. I want to listen to what you're doing.
Give me a second. The Open Meetings Act says that deliberations of a public body must occur at an open meeting. The decision by the township supervisor to schedule a holiday may have not been consistent with past practice, but he was not acting as a public body deliberating on governmental matters. Township supervisor for a charter township runs the township on a day-to-day basis, makes all of the decisions that are not in the bucket of the clerk or in the bucket of the treasurer. He or she is the individual that runs a charter township day in, day out. I represent lots of charter townships, and it is not uncommon for the supervisor to make policy decisions like this. In your case, there's been a past practice where the board has set holidays, and that is what you're going to decide tonight. It is clearly, I assure you, not a violation of the Open Meetings Act. It's not even remotely close.
And I didn't mean any malice or whatever proper word. I talked to Stan about it. I didn't mean for any one way or the other. It was a federal holiday, and I just thought that was the right thing since everything. Oh, I thought it was one of your puppies. No,
You have puppies under there?
No, not today. So I just want to clarify, again, I was not in participation of any meeting in which this occurred.
Yeah.
I had found out through an email. I addressed this with Sam the next day. And again, what he just stated is that, there was not malice, but I said it probably would have been best if we did it this way, because that's what we've done in past practices.
So,
And I'm willing to make a motion that we continue forward with giving the employees off a paid holiday for Juneteenth, which will be happening on June 20th of 2022.
Following the federal guidelines.
And
because
there's a
sometimes it
motion
can be
on the
a
table,
different
sir.
date.
I will make a motion to support what Mr. Babinski has just stated, with an understanding that, as Mr. Nicely had stated, that the executive committee made this decision when it was clearly just stated that the executive committee did not make this decision. So I support that motion.
No questions on the motion. Roll call.
Babinski's a yes. Datowski?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Kopp?
Yes.
Nicely?
Yes.
Graviti?
Yes.
And Polad?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, 10.3, procedures, violation.
Yeah, the other one is, I noticed that we just hired a badly needed person that, in the accounting office. But if we're going to follow procedures, there is one, it took me 2 seconds to find on our website that says that the township board has the final decision on hiring. Are we doing this or we're not doing this?
I would say it's not being followed.
Right.
I'm saying, and it hasn't been followed in quite a long time. Not
Then we
just
should
this
change the
board, but
procedure.
previous boards as well.
Right.
We've been following past practices that when there's a vacancy, we fill the vacancy. So we were in a badly needed spot for.
I realize that, I do, but I'm just, are we going to follow procedures? Are we going to change it? We should have the procedure equal what we're actually doing, right? Don't you agree?
Ms. Olson, I agree, because last week I was told I couldn't do it because he didn't come in front of the board.
And just a comment. I mean, there's no vote on this, obviously. I'm just pointing out.
I mean, if it's a new position, we haven't hired anyone, we bring it to the board for sure. So next is elected officials update. Tomorrow, oh no, that's community announcements.
I got one.
Okay,
July,
why don't you go first?
yeah, I'm sorry. July 1st, the tax bills will be going out. We cannot give any estimates up until July 1st. They'll be due on or before September 14th, which I think is a Thursday or Friday to this year. Anything after that, then it's going to incur a penalty. You do have until February 28th to get them in, but each month you do incur a penalty, so we encourage you to get it in as quickly as you can. In the bill statement this year, you're going to see a back page that's going to explain everything, what the abbreviations stand for and how they came across. The township keeps none of this money, so you're going to see abbreviations like MSID, what's that stand for, what's the school debt for, what's the school sinking fund for, so it gives you a better explanation of where the money is coming from and where it's going to. So the township doesn't collect any, or excuse me, we collect the funds, but then we distribute it back out to the organization. So this township, the taxes that are being collected, we don't keep any of it. In addition, you're going to see in the tax statement this year account or a recommended guideline for tax payments, so everybody can get them in on time. We all know that the U.S. Postal Service is having their challenges. So when you take a look at it, you're going to see between July 1st and August 30th, the best methods to get your payment in. And then on the far right-hand side, you're going to see another column with some blanks in there because we're going to ask everybody to eliminate the U.S. mail and a couple other issues so the tax payments are not coming in late. You can always make your tax payments for free by coming here to the township. You can do an ACH. You can go to the First State Bank on Jewel Road there. Or you can always drop it off in the drop box over here. But just a reminder, July 1st, they're going out. The reason why I bring that up is we won't have our next meeting until, I believe, July 14th or 15th.
I have a quick one with the election on August 2nd. The absentee ballot applications had been mailed out. I'm guessing we have roughly 1,000. We haven't done a physical count yet, but just by the numbers that I'm in, have already been returned. If you're still interested in doing that, sometimes people don't fill it out and understand that they're on a permanent absentee, so they get mailed automatically, and they just do for this one. Those are available. Ballots should be going out end of June. We just received them, so we'll have lots of busy work over there.
Yeah, people keep asking, they think they're on a permanent list, but they still get it no matter what, correct?
Depends on how they signed up for it.
Oh, okay.
So if you did not receive one out there, then call us up, let us know. We can check and see what you had requested, and then we can fix that if you wish to be on a more permanent basis.
Give you an update on the memorial. The Sixth Amendment to the Kirkway has been signed off. Mr. Lombardo has finally signed the, not finally, but he signed the last document, so all of that has been taken care of. The 501c3, the Memorial Committee, is going to be responsible for all the things that it said in the document in terms of supplying the granite, the benches, and the flags, and so on and so forth. He will be responsible for the rest of it in order to put the memorial together, so I want to thank Mr. Lombardo and the Lombardo Company for working with us on that. And I want to give some kudos to our attorney. Mr. Tremblay from Bruce and myself have worked diligently on trying to get these Parks and Rec bylaws whipped into shape. And Mr. Siebert came up with a really good idea, and it was something called the Urban, am I getting this right, Consolidation Act?
You are. You don't know anything about the Open Meetings Act, but you got that one right.
Hey, I got it. I did read it, too. Go ahead. As exciting as it was to read, but basically what this is going to do is it legitimizes and it makes the Parks and Rec a legal entity by which they can basically sign documents, they can have insurance, they can buy property, they can sell property if it's allowed by the bylaws. So it really becomes a corporation underneath Bruce Township and Washington Township. So I want to thank him for the effort on that. We have one more meeting on this that'll be on Friday, and then we'll get together with Bob. We'll go through the final document, and then hopefully we should have that whipped together by the first meeting in July, or the only meeting.
As soon as you get me the comments, I'm good to go.
There you go. So I'm hoping we have this done by the middle of July. So thank you.
Okay, and I got a few updates. Parks and Rec. There's a couple events happening tomorrow. One is Pasta and Trivia, 11 to 1 p.m. at the Romeo Community Center. And the other one is here, happening in Washington Township Park here. We're doing the Summer Fest from 2 to 4 p.m. Fire department will be there, Macomb County Sheriff, a lot of events happening. Going to be a pretty cool event. Also doing work in some of the parks now, that's starting. Orchard Hill Park is in very bad shape, so we're looking at resurfacing the basketball court there, redoing the trails. We've just approved doing a culvert in there with fingers to get the excess water that's been permeating out of the ground in that. That's been an ongoing issue for a few years, so we're looking at solutions that solve it for a long time, not just Band-Aids on it right there. So a lot of things happening in Parks and Rec. Pretty soon, the music in the park will start, so take a look for that right there. Also, within the Macomb Orchard Trail, they're at DeQuinder and Auburn Road. They're going to be doing some road upgrades there with the Macomb Orchard Trail, GLAA. They're going to be putting in the 96-inch interceptor drain there. They're going to go under the road. They're going to go under the trail, so the trail will get relocated temporarily. Well, they will use the sidewalk instead of the trail as they go through this. They will clear a path at least 30 feet wide. It's some great improvements. They're going to take out some trees in that, but the 200 and some are going to get replaced with 400 and some. So even though the trees will not be as big, they'll grow. And they're going to do some things on benches and that, and where you can go over and come off of the trail. They're going to redo the bathrooms over there. And so this is going to come up towards this way here as that new interceptor drain comes up. So if you're traveling in the DeQuinder Auburn Road area, you might want to avoid it for a while if you can. Rich, I know you've been very intimately involved in this right here. Your name was brought up several times in the meeting, and it was very good. So thank you for that, sir. And that's what I have.
Mr. Supervisor, I just have one inquiry I forgot to bring up. A little over 60 to 90 days ago, we brought up the possibility of doing a wage study update. Just want to see where we're at on that and see what we need to do to get the preparations ready for the upcoming negotiations for the unions.
So I can tell you at this point, there has not been much movement at all. Mr. Kopp had provided a couple different companies, but due to the changes that we've had in the office and things that are going on, there's not moved forward and won't be coming to the board or has not been put out for an RFP or anything like that at this point.
When is the garbage bid opening? Is that in the end? Or the
Well,
pre-bid?
we just had a pre-bid meeting and it's the 25th, I want to say,
So that'll
that
be
we have
by
that
the
going
July
on.
meeting?
Yes,
The
that's
next
what our intention is, to have everything in for the July meeting. So we did hire someone over there in our department as well. Went through Indeed, had, I want to say 65 applicants or so. Whittled it down to about 20, then went down to the top 7. Only 6 of them showed up. We end up hiring Joe Belansky, who has been working with the elections for the last 10 years. He was a Romeo student when he started, and he is very happy, excited, and begged and asked for the job. So he will be starting the 25th of June, so.
We doing community announcements now, or?
Yeah, we could, well, there's no correspondence.
Correct.
Yeah, I got a couple of community announcements. First of all, the Office of Senior Services is looking for individuals or volunteer groups to assist with the spring-summer cleanup for local seniors. They could be groups, corporations, clubs, or churches to volunteer for a one-day event. The event will assist seniors in maintaining the outside of their home. Services could include flower bed cleanup, window washing, leaf rake-in, and/or small tree branch trimming. If you have any interest, you can contact them at volunteer, VOLUNTEER, at macombgov.org, and they'll be glad to help you out. Or you can call 586-469-6702. Also, too, I wanted to wish everybody happy Father's Day this coming weekend, and a happy 4th of July for our recent Romeo grads who are going in the military. There are 3 of them. One's going in the Marines, one's going to West Point, and one's going to the Navy. Any future recruits, those who serve the military, such as Mike and Gary, those who, those who have passed away. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for the 4th of July. And then also wanted to give a shout out to Lisa's Dog and Grooming. If you saw their sign out there for puppies, she graciously donated a puppy to the Shelby Police Department that's going to be used as their therapy dog. I had an opportunity to see the dog, and I was there when Officer Carey picked it out. It was the most quiet dog, and she says now just sleeping in her office every day. So I wanted to say thank you to Lisa's Grooming and to Stan's family for donating that to the Shelby Police Department as their therapy dog. So thank you very much.
The building inspectors thank him.
Yeah, so he is an official sworn-in officer of the Shelby Police Department.
Really?
He is
Yeah.
Officer Stanley.
Yep.
Officer Stanley. Oh,
Not named after me, but named after my son.
your son.
Yeah, he does. He has an official badge. He's got a little card with his picture on it.
He does.
They said they're going to have to update it because he will age. He won't stay a puppy forever.
I
Does
got
he have to paw in the morning?
Well, they swore him in and asked him to raise his right paw. So it was pretty cute.
Not his back paw.
Yeah, no, don't lift your back leg.
I got pictures of Officer Carey with it, so if you want to see it, I
Yeah.
can send it to you.
Yeah.
This Saturday, Elderford's having their grand opening at their new location. It's from 10 a.m., I think, to 4 p.m. And the Romeo Washington Chamber of Commerce has their 10th annual Night Under the Stars, June 24th. It's $35 a person or $60 a couple. And also that night at Stony Creek will be the fireworks. Normally, it's the Stony Creek does it. This year, Shelby Township, they're using their sponsorships to make the fireworks even better. So there'll be a lot of patrol there on staff on behalf of Shelby Township Police monitoring. We're assuming it's normally at full capacity, so I'm sure it'll be full capacity that night. Any other? Our next meeting will be July 13th, and of course, the garbage will be the
But the
thing
big
on-
topic.
That'll be the big topic for
I
that.
did have one that I saw. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. That's something new, that the Romeo football team will be having a red and white Friday Night Lights game.
Correct.
On August 12th at Barnable Field from 5 to 8 p.m. So community event, pep rally, basically type thing. They'll have their red and white scrimmage, and you can meet all the fall sports teams. Bands will be performing. They will have food trucks, inflatables, and activities. So this is something new. Previously used to be done on a Saturday, and then they went off to the golf outing afterwards. So it should be a pretty cool event for Friday night kickoff football season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Phil.
Just a piece of news. I don't know how many of you are aware, but the Village of Romeo has issued an RFP for video services. It's due tomorrow at noon. Matt and I spent all day writing it, or writing our response. So we will be submitting before noon tomorrow. And I just wanted to make you aware, because then, should we be awarded, the contract will have to get that amendment signed that we talked about during the Bruce thing. So I just wanted to make you aware of what's going on.
Will that be at their,
So everybody say a little prayer.
would that be at their July meeting? It won't.
No, June 20th, I believe,
Oh, so it's pretty fast.
that Monday. Yeah, it all came up really fast.
Okay.
And of course, we found out about it while Matt was on vacation, so got a little hairy, but we got it done. I was there, been there since 10:30 this morning. We finished just before I came here for the meeting, so we got it done. But anyway, so I just wanted to make you aware, so say a few prayers if you can.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
The village would be
Good luck.
proud to have you.
Yes, they would.
Thanks.
Okay, then, there's nothing else. I'll make a motion to go into closed session to consider the, okay.
Wait a minute.
To consider the purchase of real property pursuant to Section 8D of the Open Meetings Act. Dukowski
Yep.
motion.
We got to vote on it.
I'll support. Roll call.
You made the motion. He supported it.
Oh, you support, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
Can I do roll call?
Yeah, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, yeah, roll call.
Praviti,
Yes.
Sadowski,
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe?
Olson,
Yes.
quit laughing. Cop,
Sorry.
That was a quick laugh.
yes. Nicely,
Yes.
and Babinski's a yes.
Okay, motion passed. We'll be back in several minutes or longer.
Or longer.
Okay, roll call?
Cop,
Yes.
Babinski's a yes. Praviti,
Yes.
Nicely,
Yes.
Olad,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
and Tatowski.
Yes.
And I'd
Who was
like to
named?
make a motion
Yes,
to,
yes, I did, I don't remember. Motion passed. Any other motions?
I'll make a motion to authorize the supervisor to write a withdrawal letter on our previous offer.
Support.
Okay, if no questions, roll call?
Cop,
Yes.
Tatowski,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Olad,
Yes.
Nicely,
Yes, sir.
Babinski's a yes. Praviti.
Yes. Motion passed.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Stay cool out there, it's nice and hot. Good night, thank you for watching.
God, we didn't take 1 minute and did all that stuff in less than a minute.